I love working with a team towards a common goal.
For the camaraderie.
Camaraderie and playing with my teammates.
I play for my team.
Teamwork and the connections that I can build on and off field.
For the community and the exercise.
Because of the community and the competition.
I like playing Ultimate Frisbee for the competition.
I play for the competition and the fun.
For fun.
Because fun.
I love getting to work hard.
You get out of it what you put into it.
Leave everything out here.
Every time I step on the field, I want to be a better player.
You know, give something people to talk about.
Be happy but never satisfied. To step away from real life and focus on Frisbee.
I play because I love Ultimate.
Find your drive.
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 A far sunnier day here in Ottawa, Ontario, here at the Ultimate Parks Incorporated facility for the Canadian Ultimate Championships Junior Edition. We have some crossover action this morning in our Junior Open Division as this tournament moves right along. I'm Clay Howlett here with Chantal Dussault, and we are pleased to bring you coverage of Junior Nationals here in Canada. Pretty exciting thing happening this morning. We've got one team trying to claw their way back from some difficult losses yesterday, and one team that won out their pool in a lower tier trying to punch up into the top 8. Chantal, I have reasons and some biases of why I'm excited for this game. As you know, how are you feeling about it?
I'm really excited by this game, Clay, because not only is it Juniors Nationals, which is exciting in itself, but these two teams have a lot at stake with today's game. So as you said, the pool play is done, and Team Manitoba in white right now lost all of their games so far. And so what that means is they have to fight to stay in the top 8 teams. And who they're playing against is Dusk in those beautiful shirts that look like a sunset. Dusk from Victoria. And Dusk fought their way up. So Dusk was ranked 10th coming in. They were seeded 10th at the CUC this year in 2024. And Manitoba was seeded 2nd. And so now it's the second team in white against the 10th ranked team. And this Dusk team in those beautiful colors is trying to claw their way up into the top 8 teams.
So, fun fact for those of you that watched our coverage last year. So, what this means is essentially in pool play yesterday, Manitoba lost all their games. They came 4th in their pool to be put into this crossover. The winner continues into the bracket, as Chantal said. The loser into the 9-16 Ninals, as we like to say. But if you watched last year, you know that this is exactly what Manitoba did last year. Lost their pool. They were in the pool of death, some might say, very difficult pool. And then they won their crossover, won their quarterfinal, won the semifinal, and then won the silver in the final versus Dino. So I was talking to the coaches this morning, and I'm like, oh, we're just sticking to the plan, the formula that got you to the championship last year. And they had a chuckle, and they said, yeah, but not quite all the way. And obviously didn't want to be in this position, but at the same time showing that experience of, hey, you know what? We've actually been in this situation before. We don't need to panic. We don't need to worry.
We don't. But this being said, it is the first year that Dusk has qualified to participate at the national championship for juniors. In fact, it's the first year that any team from Vancouver Island has ever qualified to participate at junior nationals. So this is a big deal for Dusk, and they can be a surprise team. So maybe the Team Manitoba recipe didn't include that in their plan.
Yeah, that's right. There's actually a lot going on here when it comes to the history or the crossover and some of the staff here. The coach of Dusk coached the coach of Manitoba.
No.
Yeah. So this is there's some fun things happening here, some generational things in this game, and some milestones, some, repeat for Manitoba, some milestones for Victoria, the crossover in the staff. Really exciting matchup we have here. Dusk will be starting on offense as Manitoba rips that pole. It's going to be fielded by Binns, flipped to Saunders. It's Kai Saunders, son of Coach Danny Saunders. That pass too errant for Matt Melvey, so Manitoba with the chance at a break. Thiessen outside of the end zone quickly finds Ryan Enerson, and Manitoba quickly getting on the board, capitalizing on that break. You see them celebrating, taking that momentum right off the hop. Really great way to get psyched and into the game.
Absolutely.
Within 30 seconds?
Yes, it was quick turnover by Team Manitoba in white. So number 77, Thiessen, just grabbing that and quickly spotting his teammate, Enerson, in the end zone and just making a simple backhand. And, you know, it might be just the nerves, Clay. It's the first point, high-stakes game, the first throw. You know, it's a little bit shaky, but that was sort of an easy win for Team Manitoba's first point.
Yeah. Showed good patience there in the end zone, looked for the easy options and just went for it right away. Didn't rush anything, as we've seen. I mean, they didn't really have to.
No.
kind of a freebie there. But, you know, we'll see how Dusk responds. When a team is here for the first time at Nationals, you can expect that when they start playing with the top 8 teams and everything, there is a little bit of a mental shift or mental fortitude that has to happen, right? As you come into a lower pool and you're like, let's do the best we can. And now you're in championship contention and everything sort of changes.
Absolutely. And so the team in white, Manitoba, they are coming in this thinking, hey, we come from a strong pool. We've got this game. So they're, as you say, mentally stronger right now. They're thinking they can do this, whereas Dusk is thinking, we really need to do this.
Yeah. Long. We'll flip that up to Saunders in the middle. Manitoba comes down with a zone, looking like a more classic cup, 3-3-1. That pass is too far in front of Neil Matheson, and he's not able to make the grab. So now Manitoba just takes off immediately. Steadwell swings that over to the middle. Enerson playing catch in his handler core and seems to bobble that pass. And Adrian Chen able to knock that away. Saunders now looking for options, decides to swing right away to Long. Long has Matheson open on the wing. Manitoba sticking with the zone. Long, IO break to Saunders. Saunders likes his upside down throws and blades. That's in my notes. I don't just know that. So he's looking for it, but electing to stick with the chill throws and work it around. As Chen, Long, and Saunders doing the heavy lifting. Matheson coming under, but this zone being very strong for Manitoba in their containment and forcing this lateral movement right now. Looking like a forced middle. Manitoba trying to force Victoria to put it into traffic. Saunders looking off that middle pass, decides to go with the blade over top. That one connects. And Balaka is able to find a receiver in the end zone. That was Kane Harper-Tubbs, who has done very well in the air this tournament, has actually made some of the social media reels, if you will, for his athletic grabs and everything. I've actually been skied by him repeatedly. It's very frustrating.
Yes, let's talk about that a little bit here. You alluded to the fact, Clay, when we started the broadcast, that you're very excited.
Yeah, we got to get this out of the way.
Yes, let's get this out of the way. You're very excited for this game.
Yeah, so I do live in Victoria. I do know some of these boys. In fact, we've got, let's see here, Harper-Tubbs, Kane Harper-Tubbs, Alex Long, Jonathan Binns, Adrian Chen has been part of it. Kai Saunders has been part of it. Matt, see, I know all the nicknames. Matt Melvey has been a part of it. And part of it, I say, practicing with the open team in Victoria, practicing with Victoria Surf. They've got lots of exposure and experience at playing very competitive ultimate. So, you know, when they're there, it's very humbling to see how slow I am now.
You play directly with them.
In my masters and still trying to, live my glory in open. But I'm well aware of what these kids are capable of. So I do know a lot of them. I've gotten some feedback before that I can be kind of a homer. So,
yes,
going to do my best here. But I also know lots of Manitoba players got to watch lots of their games and broadcast lots of their games last year. So I'm also very aware of their abilities.
I'm sure you can be very objective about this, Clay.
Yeah, Peterson
What a
gets that
great
around,
save.
and Abbott's able to save him. Peterson, arguably one of the best players, or not arguably, but one of the best players on Manitoba, evidently. And he's looking for options, instead decides to swing it around. He's going to go up the line as there's a little bit of blown coverage by Victoria, except that pass is too high, and Melvy's able to grab it. Harper Tubbs on the sideline now. Able to get that to the middle to Binns. Karomi moves that up to Melvy. He'll swing it back to Karomi. Karomi looking for options. Vertical set here from Victoria. Binns goes up the line. It's not there. Karomi running out of time, decides to let loose to Binns. Binns is able to read that. He's not in. Signal by the observer. And Binns is going to go across the field to Melvy. And Dusk gets the break to put the game back on serve.
So it's a very tight game so far with some beautiful defense that we've been seeing. And you mentioned briefly Cale Peterson on the white team Manitoba team. And he is not only a great handler and a great defense, he was part of Team Canada U20 this year.
That's right.
And he's also the only carryover player from Team Manitoba's gold medal for 2022. So lots of experience, and number 11, Cale Peterson on the Team Manitoba team.
So he's the only player from 2022.
That's right.
Right, and then we know they only have 7 in total from 2023. I guess he's included in that.
That's right.
Right.
Yep. So good defense, but not enough, because Dusk was able to work that all the way up the sideline and then elect to make that break side throw to someone who's completely open.
Yeah.
Number 16.
Yeah, it is tough. If I'm Manitoba, though, I'm probably saying to my team, like, I don't want them to get down on themselves over that goal. That was a stall 9 throw.
It was.
Right, yeah,
they
had really good handler defense and kind of desperate. Binns was able to read that really well and keep his toes in, but I'm sure he only had, half a foot of sideline to work with there.
Yes, but he managed to keep it in. I've seen other matches where players try to keep it in before they're even caught it and they drop it, so good concentration.
So Saunders will be pulling. Seeing generally the same line from Manitoba back on. Wasn't very long point. Abbott's going to field this pull. Oh, excuse me. Different handlers. That's Eric Zhang that has the disc. He's looking for options. This is an FSU we're seeing from Dusk right now. So match defense on the handlers, zone downfield. And could have been a second effort, as Manitoba was looking for the holes in that, but I think it was Saunders who was able to get a hand on that. I'm actually not too sure if that was, but nevertheless, that pass tipped just out of bounds. And Saunders decides to go cross field, but this time,
a fantastic save.
Gabriel Russell was waiting for it, but that's picked up
by number 16.
Number 16, that was Melvy, again, known to make great catches this tournament. And Fryer. Manitoba falling into their zone. It's working. Victoria being very confident, looking for holes. That cross field hasn't served them well so far, but this time it connects with Stotts. Back to Saunders. Saunders goes over the top to Long. Long looking up the line. It's not there. Good coverage by Manitoba. They are leaving this hole IO through in the middle, but still a very good game. Victoria's not able to find the hole now, as this cup is very loose and doing a great job of looking for the holes, except for that one, as Chen is able to come across. Long swings that around. We've seen this is the strategy here, the old dump and swing against a zone from Victoria right now, showing some patience. Saunders did let a blade loose earlier, showing a little bit of patience. He goes for it again, but this time Manitoba, knowing what Victoria is looking for, is able to snack on that. Tommy Airy knew it was coming. Peterson and Zhang just doing the give-go game. No one's catching up. Airy to Peterson, and Peterson finds, we're going to tell you who scored that. That was number 19, Barakit Burrell with the goal.
To even out the score. And so again, some I think that Team Manitoba Cup was giving the handlers on the Dusk team a little bit of trouble, and but there was some good patience on both sides. And
when you say trouble, I'm thinking the trouble is their containment was so good, it was so loose that there was never anyone to throw to except each other.
Except the handlers, you mean?
Yeah.
Between each other. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. But what they did do well is that they used most of the width of the field.
Yeah.
And we don't see that very often in juniors because they don't necessarily have the skills to do that, those long throws that are half the width of the field.
Yeah.
But it seems that the Dusk handlers were able to do that. And while we're speaking about Dusk, I just want to highlight that amazing save by Matty Melvey, number 16, when he dove and caught that swill.
Oh, I was already looking at my clipboard. I thought that was a turnover.
We all thought that was down. That was an amazing save, which allowed them to keep that possession. And it's funny because in their notes, in their team notes, he's also called the catcher of swill and the professor of defensive wizardry. So, but he's also the king of tripping on grass. So they don't take
give
themselves.
and take is what you're saying.
Don't take themselves too seriously.
Well, Manitoba's zone showing great discipline to force the throw that they wanted and getting a clean hold. Well, not a clean hold, but a hold that they needed to keep this game tied up. Russell looking for options. Victoria with a deep offense right now. Binns will let that loose. Harper Tubbs making the run. That's going to be too far, thinking about laying out, but couldn't quite make up the distance. So now Manitoba, a chance with the break, or a chance for a break, excuse me. Thiessen. Zone set by Victoria. Thiessen's able to find a hold that is dropped, unfortunately, by Atticus Cruz. You could tell him picking back up that he wanted that back. He did a great job to keep his toes in, but just fumbled it.
That's exactly what we were saying before. Players sometimes focus so much on keeping their feet in that they drop the pass.
Long's pass floats up and batted into the hands of Victoria player who didn't see it coming. Great defense there by Ezra Thiessen. Enerson doesn't see the options he wants. He does have a free dump, doesn't go for it. That pass instead gone for the deep shot, but Harper Tubbs breaks that up. And Karomi gets that around to Binns. They tried to feed that through the middle to Harper Tubbs. Great layout bid by Jack McLean to break that up. Enerson went to Steadwell. Steadwell airs that out, and it seemed that Jack McLean was going to get that and started looking at the next pass before he put his hands around the disc. Common
Steadwell,
mistake.
who just picked up that and put that long pass, has just picked up the sport this year. Imagine that.
Wow. Binns outside of the end zone. Has Hulme deep. It's not there. Instead, he elects, or excuse me, that was Matheson who flips it to Binns. And Binns is going to go up the line to Harper Tubbs, but again, the pass just too far for him to make. Had to lay out to keep that in bounds. Too much mustard on that pass from Binns. Thiessen picks up. He's been picking up this entire point for Manitoba. Gets it around to Enerson. Enerson flips that to Steadwell. Enerson has an easy feed through the middle. Nobody is dealing with Jonah Wong. Or excuse me, oh yes, Jonah Wong. And Jack McLean gets it back after dropping it earlier. He scores the point with the feed from Jack Henwood. Manitoba with a break. They lead 3-2.
And Dusk's cup situation, the defense was doing a good job maintaining the disc behind the wall. And it felt to me like Manitoba didn't have many options close to the handlers. And I was thinking to myself, oh, they need to provide more cuts closer to the handlers. But what they did instead is they provided cuts up the middle where there were lanes, open lanes. And really, Team Manitoba could see those open players and pierced through the inside, through the defense that was sparse, actually, the Dusk defense that was sparse.
What I really like about it, like what happens in a lot of cups, or the FSU that's playing person defense on the handlers and then a zone in the back is there's a lot of collapsing from the zones. It's very aggressive.
Right.
Right? So those defenders collapse in towards the disc constantly, and that can really phase a lot of junior teams. Manitoba, no stranger to pressure.
Right.
Right? So they're like, yeah, collapse around us, that's fine, because that will leave cutters downfield open. And they just found that really easy feed to Wong. Wong showing great heads up saying, I might be 25 yards deep, but I'm poached. I'm not covered.
And there was an open lane between him and the handler.
Yeah.
And so
Manitoba showing some great adaptation, not afraid of any kind of zone looks or anything. They know what to do. They've been here before.
and
showing that experience.
It's already 3-2 for Manitoba.
Yeah.
And so maybe they are on that plan to win back their spot in the top 8 teams and win in the winner brackets.
Karomi finds Melby. Melby sort of lined up the Huck, didn't look for it. Karami gets it around to Saunders. He's got a cutter under, elects not to take it. Will instead go to Melby, but instead that's broken up by Liam Howes, who saw that coming, able to make a great play and avoid contact as well in what looked like to be a really close shot, but unfortunately a blown tire by number 7, Ryan Palma, puts the disc back in Victoria's hands. Saunders dumps it to Karami. Looks for the swing right away. It's not there. He's still stuck on that sideline. Saunders. Deep vertical set here by Victoria. Manitoba noticing that and really jamming up the unders here, making it very difficult to get any under action happening for Victoria. But there, Victoria finally finds a hole to Sam.
It's a pick called.
Zabilowitz, and there is a pick call. It looks like Bilowitz's check. Hayden Davis is describing what happened.
But while we wait for that, look at this beautiful setup on the field. Isn't this a textbook stack, vertical stack, Clay?
It is. I like it. I like the spacing.
Good spacing.
You know, I always like to say, oh, a pick and vertical. How surprising.
Yes, no. Absolutely. I was a little concerned before. It felt like the handlers might have been stranded. They're a little bit closer now. I think this might work out.
So Krami with the disc. He'll throw an IO up the line. That is a very, very tight angle to make. It's not in the right place for Melby to grab. So.
And I think that 33 Bilaka had a bid on it, but saw that his teammate was going up to it and decided to let it go.
Barricade Burrell with the disc. Finds the IO break. A great shot to Dempsey. Dempsey has a few options. Oh, and that just bounces off the hands of his receiver.
18, Mitchell.
Thank you, Ewan Mitchell. You know he wants that one back, looking at his hands after that. Saunders able to break to Melby, who elevates early to stop the run through D. Melby looking for options. Saunders goes up the line. It's not there. Karami looks to go backwards instead. Sams and Bilowitz comes out from the front of the stack. Again, Manitoba doing a great job of stopping these open side unders, but Victoria able to work that break side. Stotts looking for an option to Saunders. Stall 9, and that pass is too wide. Who else getting the D? But Barricade Burrell, then he launches that to Davis.
Oh.
And that pass locked in. He saw it all the way in for Manitoba. I actually don't know who that was, but what a great layout. We are going to get credit to that player.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's 88, but I'm not 100% sure from here.
Well, if you're watching on the stream right now, feel free to light us up in the comments and tell us who that was.
Exactly. We'd love to give credit to the right person. But what a quick turnaround of events there. So Dusk was working the disc and really had some, you know, some trials with that vertical stack. So I think that the stack might have been a little bit static, and, you know, teammates were trying to get open and trying to create some options. But as soon as there was a fumble, Team Manitoba got a hold of it, didn't wait. 1, 2, 3 punched in, and we've got number 13 to their wonderful teammate.
To the wonderful, amazing laying out receiver.
Exactly.
Who we will sing praises of when we figure it out.
We almost.
But timeout called by Victoria right now.
Oh, number 8, I believe it is. So Enerson.
Enerson. And if it wasn't Enerson, Brian, you when you watch this stream back, you best give credit to your teammate there.
So that was an important point, Clay, because had Dusk scored there, they would have evened out the score, and it would have continued to be sort of that 3-3 game. Unfortunately, now it's 4-2. Yes, 4-2 for Team Manitoba. A big mental difference, right? Talk to us a little bit about how that feels.
Yeah, the big mental difference is you hear the crowd. In true fashion, our teams from, center Western Canada are always some of the best and most supportive fans. Making out, but wait, I don't want to put that past High Tide's crowd yesterday or Storm's crowd yesterday. However, this is known to be a very supportive crowd for Team Manitoba. In the tournaments I've covered, Manitoba always has the largest contingent to support them. So you hear that energy, those cheers coming from the sideline. The players on the field are jumping up and down after every goal. They forced a timeout call by Victoria. They are in it, right? Victoria now thinking, we can't get anything going. Right? And these are the insidious feelings you don't want to let in. We can't get anything going. We can't figure it out. We're not clicking. What are we doing? Coach Saunders, Danny Saunders, smart to call a timeout and say, all right, listen, and I don't know what he said, but if I were him, I would say, here's why we're not clicking. Here's where we're missing things. I would go on a limb and say, we need to get unders closer, happening faster. They're just stuffing us under right now.
Yes. And a little bit more options, right? Coming right out of this tack, maybe some duplicate options.
Binns fakes the big flick. Huck
trying a
new option. Still looking upfield, high stall count, but he decides to stick with Long all the way. Long's going to put that out immediately for Matheson. Matheson with the good read, keeps his feet in. Elects to flip it to Long. Good patience. Long now with more options, but a lot of traffic in front of him. But he'll decide to go with the backhand around. That is in for Harper Tubbs, who blows a kiss to the camera. He's kind of a ham. I am comfortable saying that. He loves to put on a show when he gets the goals. So credit to him. But you know what? Listen, you hear that? Who do you hear cheering?
Manitoba.
Right.
Right. But still, Dusk is back. Their heads are back in the game, so this is good. And I really enjoyed seeing those throws and that formation. The initial formation that they came out with, I think maybe that's what Coach Danny said to them. It's like, okay, let's not go with vertical anymore. It seemed closer to something like a split stack to me. And, and it was the person coming from the back that came all the way through. So their mark was sort of doing a last back on them, and they came all the way through the middle, got that first pass. And I think that's what got the momentum going for Dusk, and it changed their energy in that whole point, and the flow was just unstoppable from there.
If you're from BC, you know that play as a Jets go.
Oh, well, see,
yes.
I do not. I'm not from BC, but thank you. Yes, so I think that play worked for them.
Yeah, it is. It is advantageous, obviously, to set up plays where you're going to put the hot cutter, the person who's going to get the disc, in a position where their defender's inherently at a disadvantage thanks to where you've started your cuts or where you've lined up. Obviously, you want to go to the open space where the defender isn't, but having a plan to do so goes a long way. The score, 4-3 for Manitoba.
And we're hearing very loudly, here we go, October, here we go.
Zhang to Klippenstein. Has Abbott in the middle. Manitoba showing a lot of momentum here. Hurd moved that up pretty quickly. Peterson now with the disc. He's looking for options. He's able to find a hole in the zone for McLaren, who's been doing a lot of work under. He's big, goes over the top. Easy pass and goal for Manitoba.
So 60 did the pass too. Again, we're looking for receiver.
Number 6, Eric Wang.
Perfect.
Dubs, as his teammates call him, with the point.
Dubs with the point. So you said that was an easy pass, number 60 did, but I think it was a bit of a cheeky pass, really. It was this high release backhand floating, all the way into the end zone. Good thing there's not much wind or no wind at all, because that could have caught the wind, but it really worked out for them.
Yeah.
And maybe...
I need to clarify something.
Please.
Okay, listen. They're playing Masters, right? Every easy pass is a cheeky pass. Okay, they can be both. Right? But, He used his height. I loved it.
Yes, he used his height. He used his height, but he probably put a good amount of spin on it. He read the wind. The wind has just picked up now. It's funny. I was just talking about the wind, and now there's a gust of it that came through. So we never know when that happens. And those high release floaty backhands, pop throws, not the best against the wind. But it worked out for them, and that's the important part. So Team Manitoba back with the lead.
So we've seen a lot of depth in Manitoba this game. Really using all parts of their roster. They talked about in their notes how the leadership and knowledge throughout the team is all very, very cohesive. And with only 7 returning players, you know, you're really using everybody on the field to learn and get things done. Victoria finds a hole, or, well, a gap over top of the zone. And Matheson flipped that to long, but it seemed that that pass was made in desperation at a high stall count as we hear a down called.
The official word for it is stall.
Yes.
But some of us.
Yeah, stall down or stall. Yeah, it is stall. Binns with the disc disagrees, so it sounds like contested. It will come in at stall 8. So Binns is going to look to probably do this very quickly. Yeah, blocked by number 44, Jonah Wong. Binns saying that was still in my hands, sir. Observer Linda Kudo making her way over there to listen. That's a tough one. So we talked about this a little bit yesterday in one of the streams. That dominant side backhand throw. So if I'm right-handed, usually when I throw backhand, I step to my left side to do so. But if I keep my arm on the right side of my body and throw that backhand, I have to do so much physical movement. It's coming in at 6, so it's contested, but so much movement my arm has to go through that. I'm actually holding on to this for a very long time.
There you go.
So a turnover after that contested call. That is going to sit for Thiessen. And that feed from Enerson puts Manitoba up 6-3.
So it might be 6-3, but an interesting point is that Team Manitoba has done 5 of the last 6 points.
Oof.
So there's definitely some momentum, and Manitoba has figured out what to do against Dusk so far, anyway, and they've got the momentum. So I wouldn't be surprised to see either Dusk taking a timeout soon or some new plays being put on by Dusk to kind of change the momentum. Some of the players that we've been seeing so far have really made a difference. On this last play, we saw Jonah Wong, number 44, on Team Manitoba. And he made a pretty important play, and he's only in grade 9. Sorry, he's in grade 11.
Grade 11.
Sorry. He's in grade 11. So yeah, he's a defensive cutter. And what their teammates like about him is that he's mostly upbeat and respectful, and he always puts in a continuous effort. And isn't that a theme in Manitoba, in Winnipeg, the continuous effort?
Yeah, they want to play to their full potential. They indicated to us that this is all about being tough for any opponent. They want to disrupt their opponent. They want to stay cohesive and play disciplined possession offense. So everything they're all about is so team-oriented. And that's really coming through right now with this score. They come down in a zone. We've seen this force middle cup, which, again, really disrupting Victoria underneath as the handlers move it around. Binns catching that easy float from Saunders. But you see, there's just nothing upfield for Victoria right now. Manitoba is just, I'll use the word disrupting again. That's what they want in the middle of the field. That hammer almost gave Victoria an opportunity to flip it up to Binns, but Harper Tubbs does not take the shot. Instead, tries to go around. And that is called in as Melvie.
Great presence at number 5.
Yeah, sorry.
Gabriel Russell.
Kept his toes in just off the paint of the sideline there.
And the wind has picked up, Clay. So we were saying before there was no wind, but now there is some wind, and it's in their face. So that'll make it a bit more challenging for their handling skills to get that through that zone, especially given how far the options are.
Karami faking the deeps. We're seeing, I'm not sure. No, they're sticking with zone. Manitoba, though, a little disorganized suddenly. Sticking with the zone, but it seems that Dusk has found the momentum now to get ahead of the zone. Saunders moves that to Harper Tubbs, immediately swings. They're trying to get this lateral movement to make the zone tired. Binns doesn't like the upfields and immediately looks for his handlers. Harper Tubbs finds the hole in the middle. getting close to the red zone. Manitoba electing to keep their zone. Sometimes that actually works because Victoria runs out of vertical space to play with. And with the disruption of the unders here by Manitoba, Victoria's going to find that their real estate runs out so quickly downfield.
It would be nice to see Dusk being a little bit more dynamic in the mid and long field here. They're a bit static, waiting. They should be creating options. Be nice.
Saunders seeing some options in the middle, waits a few stalls, doesn't get any. Disc works his way around to Karami. Saunders then makes a dynamic cup up line to get some momentum, but that continue needs to be there to punch through the cup if Victoria wants any kind of momentum here. Harper Tubbs on the sideline. Not there. Goes to Saunders. Saunders trying to eke out an extra yard with a little jab step there on the catch.
And what they're doing well is they're playing with 4 handlers.
See, you said something. That's what happens.
You said they were being patient.
Yeah, I did. Yeah, that's on both of us. Well, you know, and that's what these zones do, though.
It is.
Right? Force 40 throws. The opponent will get impatient. They'll take a shot, and then suddenly you have 4 defenders collapse around it to break it up. Great patience there by Manitoba to stick with their zone. But perhaps not on offense as they take a shot immediately, and Melby's able to bring it down. But Manitoba getting right back into their zone. That pass, though, soft, and Dax Blight.
Really good anticipation by Dax Blight with the hat there.
Howes. We hear an out call after this greatest attempt.
And it was the observer who called it out.
I think he jumped. I think his foot was on the line when he jumped.
Right.
I did think that that was an awesome attempt by Hayden Davis. Obviously, he paid attention during the showcase.
That's right.
But it looked as if he might have taken off from out of bounds, even though he caught the disc and threw it in the air. So no greatest this time, but good try, man. That was pretty cool. Saunders bumped a little bit as he gets the disc in the middle. Now, as you said, Victoria doing a great job of working the handlers here, but they get impatient and take shots upfield. There's nothing underneath. There's no vertical movement here for Victoria that's more than 5 yards. They're working backwards and sideways, making tons of passes to get this vertical space, but this handler core Victoria doing the best they can to make something happen.
And that's the whole point of the cup, is to force these throws.
But that one connects as Gabriel Russell was uncovered. And now Victoria in the red zone. Do they have the patience to make this work? No.
A great attempt, though, right, from number 7, Harper Tubbs, to his teammate, number 5, Gabriel Russell. But maybe a little bit rushed there. The connection couldn't happen. So back with Team Manitoba. So that cup is proving to be a bit of a challenge, and I think Dusk is going to want to offer a bit more options for their handlers. The 4 handlers are doing a great job moving that back and forth, but as you say, it's a statistics and patience game.
Howes with a cheeky feed through the cup there. The no-look IO backhand. He has Henwood. Henwood is going to move it back to Howes. They do a little give-go together as Victoria catches up. Howes fakes that. He looks for the hole in the middle, finds it to Dax Blight.
Nice throw by Howes.
Howes, Blight, and Davis working the disc together. Or excuse me, that was Henwood with the disc now. Igpalza. Is able to get Dax up the line. A Blight against Victoria. They cannot shake the sickness that is Dax Blight scoring that point. Some give-goes, some great action defensively by him in that point. Excellent work by Manitoba, showing both patience on defense and consistency in their zone, and then some chilly offense on their last possession. The score now 7-3 for Manitoba.
Manitoba really is comfortable with the disc. You can tell they probably play with each other quite a bit. They are comfortable with, they know what they can throw. And we saw that very well with number 22 on the white team, Ethan Agpalza, and number 0 who caught that, Dax Blight. but also from all of their teammates, right? When they catch it, you get this feeling of calm, like they know what they're doing. There's no panic aboard. It's really a question of selecting the right target and just executing, and they're very good on execution. So the Manitoba environment, especially the Winnipeg community for Ultimate is a great community. It's the one big program. They don't have, different clubs or different local programs. It's one unified program in Winnipeg. And they're very cohesive, and they work together, and they coach all the high schools, and it's in the high school programs, and that feeds these junior teams, the university teams, the senior teams. So it's an impressive ranking for maybe a smaller community, but a very tight, cohesive, and efficient community.
And there's something I'll point out here at Cale Peterson's expense. I'll apologize at the beginning, but Cale Peterson actually is going to Davenport in Michigan next year on a athletic and academic scholarship.
Right,
he's
number 11 on Team Manitoba.
And last year when I watched his games and actually called a few of his games, he was doing everything for Manitoba. And it's not that he hasn't been in a presence this game, but he hasn't been the presence in this game for Manitoba. It's been everybody.
And that
right?
says a lot.
And I think that shows in their community building, like you're talking about, and everything they do.
Yes.
Right?
It says a lot about the depth of their teams, that they have, a superstar player who's going to get a scholarship for playing Ultimate in a university in the States. And he's not necessarily coming out as a superstar player on this game, which is great for their entire team.
Cromie moves that over to Long. Seeing, again, this poachy force middle zone from Manitoba. They know it's working. Cromie's going to get that around to Zambilowicz. Russell gets that around to Cromie. Cromie has been doing so much this game. I didn't find him in my notes from Victoria, but he has just been on fire doing so much heavy lifting. Zambilowicz moving away from that pass, and Manitoba able to read it and intercept. So now they are in the red zone. That pass flipped up to Enerson, yes to Enerson, but he just bobbles that. He goes up in the air, Long rips it right away to Chen. And Chen unable to get the read on it, but as he was turning, I see why he might have a point here, but I also understand why that's immediately contested. So Chen turning to go get the disc as he saw it was over his head. I saw his heels get clipped. I would do the signal where you slice over your head, indicating that was actually unplayable. Observer ruling right away that there's no foul. I don't think Chen was going to get that, whether or not he was touched.
His speed, his velocity might have been impacted by the other player that was touching him. So in that sense, maybe there was contact that he felt he needed to call, and that's his call, and that's why we have the self-officiated sport.
Burrell goes for the arrow break, but that edge holds and goes into the turf. So Long trying to get his team to chill out, but also asking for an option right away. Calls a play. Doesn't like his first look. Doesn't like his second. Goes for the third up the line to Melvy, and that connects. 7-4 now. And we are, I will just put this out there as we're talking about it. The score, 7-4. Our halftime, there's a halftime cap of this tournament after 45 minutes. We are 39 minutes in. When that horn goes for halftime, or at least when the observers indicate it has, we'll add a point to the highest score. So, but since Manitoba has 7, we are taking half at 8, no matter what. So, kind of standard.
Yes.
For a 15-point game that most of us are used to.
And there is enough time left in this game for Dusk to catch up. So, this point was critical for Dusk because had Team Manitoba scored that, it would be 8-3, which is an entirely different game from 7-4. So now 3-point difference, not so bad. Dusk can catch up if they have a little more options in the middle. We've seen them do some incredible throws. They have the long throws. They have the short throws. They've got the athletic players that are picking up the swill. They can make this difference up. But we have seen, though, from Team Manitoba, a good consistency and a good depth in their team. So they're not going to make it easy constantly. So they're not going to make it easy for Dusk to come back.
I do want to highlight something you said. It's only 1 point, right? But it ends up being, a different deficit. But a deficit of 8-4 going into half. If should Manitoba score this point, right?
Right.
Versus 8-3, I don't know what it is, but that's an entirely different flat ball game.
Absolutely.
Right? Like it's so interesting that can have such a different psychological effect on players. So you were right. It's so important to get those points to make that 1 point difference in how you approach the game. Abbott went to the middle to Zhang. And Klippenstein and Peterson now starting to play together some give-goes, trying to make the zone adjust. That's still in. Peterson just towing the paint there.
Great
and he'll
throw.
find a punch through the middle to McLaren, who's been airing it up with his height, but that one just not fielded right by Eric Dubs Wang. So now Dusk with an important break shot here when we're talking about that score, getting it to 5.
It
right?
would make a big difference. It would make a big difference.
Huge
The wind
difference.
has picked up, and the wind is going from the right hand of our screen to the left hand of our screen, and so Dusk has to go upwind to score this point.
But Manitoba this defense has just been amazing for them this game. Victoria has nothing on this defense this game. They've made a few things work desperately, but Manitoba is just shutting them down.
Let's talk about this cup a little bit because I find it interesting, right? They have almost like a rabbit on the middle person and then 2 people on the sides of the handler. Oh, and Dusk is going away with it.
Yeah, they found a hole deep. Melvy now with the disc. Harper Tubbs calling for it. Manitoba immediately getting into match defense and collapsing around, but not everybody's covered as Binns is open, but a good switch, and Peterson is able to pick up Binns. Saunders gets the around. There's no continue from the stack. Nothing's there for Victoria. Binns looking for options. Saunders is going to fake up the line. That's tight. Binns doesn't like it. Instead, he's going to look for Harper Tubbs, who holds possession, but he's not quite in. Looks for the quick flip. It's not there. Looking for a lot of over-the-tops. Instead, demonstrates some good patience. Flips it to Saunders back, who can chill things out. Melvy goes up the line. Pick called by number 5, Thomas Klippenstein. So that will come back, as he indicated, pick right away.
We can see the discipline and the players waiting for the right option. There have been a few options that have not felt right for them, and they've kept the possession. And now it's a balance because there's never going to be an easy throw with Manitoba being on the defense. But there are easier throws that you can wait for, and I think Dusk really wants this point, so they're going to wait for it.
Looks like an injury sub being taken. It's number 91, Jacob Abbott, who needs it. And I believe that's Enerson coming on?
Physically looks like Enerson.
Yeah. Saunders goes up the line to Binns. Binns with the big bring down over top of Peterson. That's a goal to score now 7-5. Like we said, a crucial point for Dusk to mentally stay in this game, not just mathematically.
Exactly, and it's been 2 points in a row. So maybe Team Manitoba had started to think to themselves, oh, we've got this. Oh, they've got an upwind point. But no, Dusk worked it through, and were able to keep the disc. So I think the possession was valued just that little bit more, and really chose, the players on Dusk chose throws that they knew were going to be completed. And isn't that the key in Ultimate? And it feels like there's probably a timeout being called here, and as that's being called, a throw, in order for a throw to be completed, there really needs to be 3 things that happen. The thrower needs to do a good execution, the catcher needs to catch it, but also the defense needs to not be there. And that's the responsibility of the handler, to make sure that the defense is not present on the person who's marking, and there's no poach defense or other defense in the area. And so all of that is going on when the handler has that disc in the end zone. It's really trying to consider, do I have that throw? Can I make that? Can I execute that throw 100%? Can this person catch that throw at that speed when they're running? And are there any other defense in the area that are going to interfere with it?
Making the throw, having the receiver able to catch it, making sure the defense is not there. Well, as a handler, I agree with points 2 and 3, not so number 1. I mean,
what's number 1?
Well, throwing it good.
Okay, this is a junior game, Clay.
Yeah, but this is the one downfall of putting me on the mic. I'm a little,
you know, sometimes with the wind, or sometimes you don't feel a certain throw, right? As a handler, you might not want to do that inside-out break throw, flick, or whatever it takes to go, you know what, today this is not a 100% throw, and that's okay. Better to keep possession for your team. And that's exactly what Dusk did. So score 7-5. Completely doable for Dusk.
Yeah. Let's go Toba. The cheer coming from the stands right now. Toba, I believe, means Manitoba.
Yes,
and,
it does.
Yes. And, you know, that support, the energy coming from Manitoba has just been huge all game. They have done that so well. I'm kind of loving it. Like, it has been consistent all game, never gone away. The one parent over there carrying the cheer, hats off to you, sir.
Yeah, he's leading the cheer.
Yeah.
Let's go Toba, and everyone's clapping.
Peterson and Zhang playing a little bit of pass. McLaren able to reel that in with his long arms. Peterson immediately going to Burrell. Burrell elevates, and no one had a chance. Barakit Burrell with the great grab, reels in half for Manitoba. A grade 12 who's a hybrid player on O&D and incredibly positive for his team, matching it with his effort. So that's half, and we're going to wrap this up quick as we have a little halftime bonus coverage, if you will. We're actually not going to ads right now. We're going to pass it over to Desmond here, who's going to conduct an interview about some fun facts about the Victoria team here. So just stay on the stream here as Chantel and I pass our headsets off to this group, and we'll be back with you in the second half shortly.
Let's go.
Like 2 minutes.
Okay.
All right, hi everybody. I'm Desmond Thomas here with one of the coaches for Dusk Open Team, Christine Mader. A couple big points.
Nope, Christy Karomi.
Romy.
That's okay. I'm actually not one of the coaches.
Oh
I am. That's okay. I'm one of the organizers for Grand Forks Ultimate, and Dusk has picked up a couple of our players.
Okay, super. Well, why don't you just take it away, talking about Grand Forks, BC, and your developing team, and a little bit about your team here today.
Sure. Well, thanks for bringing us up here. We were invited to come and play for Dusk by Danny and Christy and Luca at regionals. We have a developing club team that did not qualify to come to nationals, and Danny came and talked to us and asked for a few players, so we've joined Dusk.
Okay,
this week.
Fantastic. And how's it been for your players? Like, have they played in environments like this before?
Yeah,
in these high stress environments?
Yeah, well, this has been a great tournament so far. I think they're having a lot of fun and learning a lot. We have 3 players on this team, Teo, Neil, and Gabriel. And the 3 of them did get to play at CUC last year in Surrey. We had a joint team called Chaos. And has played 1 year before. He was picked by Helios the year before. But it's been a great tournament, and this has been very intense this last game.
It is definitely a little bit of your team gameplay over the course of this first game. A couple big points at the end there. Manitoba got one to close out the half, but
I actually was pacing the sidelines back here, so have been not watching as much. It's been a great game, though. Super intense. We just wanted to say thanks to Dusk for inviting us, and also thanks to Helios Open and Helios Women's coaches for picking up some of our Grand Forks athletes. Helios Open picked up 2 of our athletes, and Helios Women has one of our athletes playing for them right now as well. So I want to say thanks. Coming from Grand Forks is just a town of 4,000 people, really trying to develop in our area, and so we just really appreciate these opportunities to give our some really high-level competition and experience and learn from our coaches. We're ready to be here.
And you can head on home with stories from this tournament in Ottawa and try to bring more next year.
Absolutely. It's been a great, really well organized. We're having a great time.
Okay. Well, thank you so much. Sorry about the little mix-up.
Oh, no.
And good luck the rest of the day.
Thanks very much.
Welcome back, Ultimate fans. Second half action being brought to you from Ultimate Parks Incorporated here in Ottawa at the Canadian Ultimate Championships Junior Edition 2024. A matchup in our open division between Victoria from British Columbia and Winnipeg from Manitoba. Manitoba in white, known as Team Manitoba. Victoria in dark, known as Dusk, in a crossover matchup. The winner moving on to the championship bracket in quarterfinals. The loser moving on to the 9th place bracket. Manitoba has been in control of this game with their defense. They start this half on 0, but Alex Long from Dusk is able to break it up and knocks that away from Cale Peterson. Saunders will pick up, and Victoria's in the red zone here with an opportunity to get a quick break from half. Saunders lets the blade go to Harper Tubbs. And Saunders, the son of the coach of the team, Danny Saunders. Danny wrote the notes for this team, and it says, for Kai Saunders, grade 9, likes to juggle knives and throw blades, strongly believes that hockey assists should be tracked in Ultimate, just finished grade 9, captain of BC Games gold medalist team, and still attending high school. My favorite part of that, likes to juggle knives and throw blades. We've seen that several times from him this game, and that one pays off.
That was a good knife that was a good knife that was chucked at his teammate number 7,
Harper Tubbs.
Harper Tubbs, who got that. And so the game is getting closer and closer now, and Dusk has just scored their 6th point. So
a break right out of half like that.
A break right out of the half.
Boom.
And that's going to be, maybe setting the tempo for the second half of this game. And so Dusk has scored the last 3 of the 4 points. So
and earlier it was Manitoba, right? That had like 5 out of 6.
Exactly.
It's a game of runs.
This is the way we see it. And so now potentially Dusk is having that swing back. And over break, well, the halftime was happening. What we had is we had the representative of the program from which they picked up some players. So the Dusk team is not just from Victoria, they're also from the Grand Forks area. And they have a few of those teams from there as well, the team members.
Eric Easy Zhang finds Abbott through the middle as Peterson flips it to Mitchell. So much momentum. I can't keep up with how quick Manitoba is moving this disc up the field. But once again, Victoria reads the pass to Peterson in the middle. Harper Tubbs this time with the run through D.
Great anticipation by Harper Tubbs.
Saunders goes for it right away. Harper Tubbs has been big in the air for this team, and he is again, but he's outside of the end zone, taps it in. A quick flip to Melvy, and it's easy. Another rapid break after the defensive play by Dusk. And now the score 8-7, the game within 1, just like that.
Who knew it could change so quickly, Clay? So Harper Tubbs having a huge impact on that last point. I mean, he was everywhere.
The double happiness.
Double happiness. He made this very good anticipated defense and then caught a long throw. He was almost in. He was on the side of the end zone. And then he made, I think, a hasty decision to throw it to his teammate.
Very ill-advised and hasty.
But it worked out, and it was caught by his teammate in the end zone. So Dusk within 1 point of equalizing the score.
Well, UPI here, Ultimate Parks Incorporated, if you don't know, the local Ultimate Association owns this field. This is theirs. There are 19 Ultimate fields on the grounds of this facility. A few were a little too wet the day before, but everything's dry today, and it has been fantastic. The sun is out. We're on the showcase field, being sponsored by Discraft, providing us with all the equipment we really need, which is the game discs, and also sponsored by BE Ultimate, which is providing apparel for us. We've got our sick blue shirts and other clothing for the staff, and teams can pick up kit from their merch tent here.
We just got a note from our live feed that apparently number 5 is not Russell. So thank you for the live feed correction, and we apologize in advance.
We should probably find out who that is.
Yes.
But we'll get that done. In the meantime, Manitoba on offense now, this time using more lateral vision upfield. Peterson's not stopped as he comes through the middle that time. Victoria's anticipating it, but Peterson really turning on the jets now to get past everybody. Finds a hole over the top to Burrell, but Harper Tubbs once again breaking that up. And just out of the hands of Burrell, who had a great first half, made some huge plays for Manitoba. Binns finds Melvey open on the open side. We're seeing this zone look. Burrell, after that big run, gets the assignment on the mark, but he looks a little gassed. Victoria goes over the top to Harper Tubbs, but it's too high. Instead, Jeremy Hurd elevates to make the D, and it's dropped. Too far out of bounds.
Yep.
For Ezra Thiessen.
Just follow up on that. So number 5 is Russell, but apparently we misspoke and we said it was Melby at one point.
Oh, I'll do that.
Yes,
sorry,
the game
everybody.
is going so fast. Yes.
Yeah, we love the corrections, and it won't be the last time you have to help us out that way. So expect us to make mistakes. Matheson. Looking for options, being forced middle, has the dump to Long. Long goes around to Binns. Binns looking for a big over the top. Harper Tubbs all by himself, has to make an athletic grab, but no pressure. Called down by Manitoba immediately, by everybody nearby.
But Harper Tubbs signaling that he caught it on his thigh, and so that is not down. Didn't touch grass, it touched his skin.
I mean, we didn't have perspective on the disc. Observer ruling. Disc is up from our observer.
When the observer touches their shoulders like this, it means that it is a call of the observer that they're communicating. It's not something that the players have agreed to. It's really the call of the observer, and that's when the players ask the observers to make that call.
Yeah, a binding call, one you have to abide by with observers.
But usually the players will self-officiate, and so they will usually find an agreement.
Binns finds Harper Tubbs crashing in the middle. Victoria seemingly needing that crash action happening in front of the cup here, because we have seen this disruptive Poachy Cup from Manitoba just destroy Victoria's offense this game. They've seemed to do well, like they did the last 2 points on D with the run and gun, if you will. The give and goes right away, but as soon as Manitoba sets into the zone,
let's have a look at this zone. I find it really interesting. So they have the two left and right sort of rabbits on the handler, one of which will take the mark. And then in the front, you've got sort of a mid that's looking upfield and really marking almost man-to-man whenever anyone comes close to that middle upfield.
We're seeing Cass McLaren. He's actually turning around.
Right,
and
exactly.
putting his back to the disc, and he's looking at who's coming in for the under and just stuffing that under, right?
Right. And that's not a typical zone. Usually you'll have that middle person looking at the handler. And so, but this zone seems to be very efficient for them.
Number 5, Thomas Klippenstein. Breaks that up, saw the big throw coming. Manitoba has been forcing Victoria to do that. Victoria playing into Manitoba's hands. Wow, Ezra Thiessen reaching out to make that grab as a Binns was coming through to make the run through D, but it wasn't there. Peterson now is going to go over the top to Thiessen.
Thiessen for double happiness.
That's right, the double happiness. If you hear us saying that, that means you made the defensive play and then scored on the subsequent possession. I'm just going to get on my soapbox right now and just say, everybody, if you're listening, a double happiness, if you go end to end from end zone to end zone, is called bookends.
Oh.
And then you put your hands up on your head like rabbit ears to indicate bookends. Learn it, cheer it. It's the best cheer. I didn't invent it, but nobody does it.
Nobody does it.
Well, I do it. I teach people it. Learn it.
Learn it. Do your bookends.
Okay,
it's
off my
rare.
soapbox,
It's very rare that you'll see a D on the opposite ends, and then do bookends? Does that only mean when it's the one D at the end?
You get the D in the end zone and you take it all the way down to the other end. You score in the other end zone. You've gone end to end.
There we go.
You know.
There we go.
You've set up that library shelf.
Okay, from end to end zone.
Yes.
End zone to end zone. You did the D, and then you struck, and you catch.
You strike, or you just get the goal, whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
But you work it end to end.
Okay, I got it.
Yeah. See, it's good, right?
Yeah, double happiness, but
okay.
that's
Thank
a
you for that validation.
special double happiness that's called bookends.
Yeah, I think I will stop yapping now, as the juniors say. And while I was, discussing that with you, thank you for humoring me. We're hearing a ton of talking from the Manitoba sideline. I mean, they just got the goal, but still the mental, emotional momentum still clearly in Manitoba's hands.
Yes, but Dusk looking strong out there. This is, again, their special cup, the special Manitoba Cup. I don't know if they have a name for this.
I want to call it a wedge. Wedge to the middle.
This one looks like a wedge. You're right.
Yeah.
This is a wedge. This is a W-type zone.
Victoria patiently looking for those holes, but, again, it's just lateral all day. There, a crash. Something Victoria has needed this game. happy to see that if I put my coach hat on.
We've seen a little bit more of unpredictable handler movement on that, which was good. More like sort of the 8 shape cuts.
Victoria's found that momentum up the field now as they're breaking through this cup. They need to keep it going. If they just fall back into the lateral game, that's what Manitoba wants. And Saunders looking for something upfield. Has Chen in the middle. Saunders elects to go for the around.
Good pressure by 44 Wong, Team Manitoba.
Wong has made some big plays this game. Pretty dangerous there on the edge of this wedge. Chen goes back to Saunders in the middle. Saunders flips it to Kuromi.
Kuromi electing to keep it in play and not making any dangerous throws on that. So again, valuing the disc. Evaluates. I do not have that throw.
That was, yeah, excellent job. Looking up and then taking the easy shot up the middle. Saunders looking for options. He's going to go over the top. This is what Manitoba wants. And Scotty steadfast in the middle to eat that up. But that pass is out of bounds for him, and Victoria has a chance. Saunders and Kuromi working it up the middle. Kuromi, the massive contribution this game. Saunders able to reel that in. Pass to bidding Atticus Cruz. Saunders is going to go for the blade to Melvy. The Melvy with the amazing catch. And it looks like that may have hurt, but wow, way to elevate and get over the defender in a way that doesn't cause any fouls or anything like that. Trying not to be a homer here, but you got to celebrate a catch like that.
That catch was exceptional. It was incredibly athletic. The read on that, the body positioning, as you say, and then he landed and kept possession of it nonetheless. So that was a very athletic catch. I was speechless a little bit there for a moment, just waiting to see if he was okay, and he seems to be walking it off. So I think Melvy will be okay. Great catch for Dusk. That throw.
Okay, yeah. Yes, the catch, amazing. The throw was a throw.
Yes, it was a throw, which they scored. So
yeah.
Really, what can we say?
I'll just remind everybody. It was indicated in our notes that Kai Saunders loves to throw the blades. It's a known fact. The notes, mind you, provided me by Coach Danny Papa Saunders. So, I suppose Dusk knows it's going to happen.
Right. And that being said, sometimes, as a handler, sometimes we get tunnel vision and we're looking sort of for that end zone target. And I think that Saunders did have some targets that were midfield that were coming to him that were open. But sometimes as handlers, we look for that long throw. We want that point, and I think that's what Saunders wanted. Luckily, he found Melvy. He was able to connect, and it was a point for Dusk. So now they've been trading for the last it's a little bit more balanced in terms of Team Manitoba and Dusk, but the score is 9-8.
Eric Zhang picks that up, flips it in the middle to Abbott. Zhang gets it back. He has Peterson in the middle by himself. Instead, he's going to look to the middle. Harper Tubbs sees the blade coming. And I don't think Zhang saw that he had lots of handlers available on the edge there. Binns in the middle now. Manitoba setting up that zone. We've talked about it so much, but it has just been so good this game. But Dusk now finding that forward momentum. They've sorely needed this game. Can they work it enough late in this game to get some momentum?
Oh, that was an impressive and very important catch by number 3 on Dusk.
Neil Matheson bobbles it a bit, but stays with it all the way down to the ground. He's looking for options that handlers aren't active. He's going to run out of time. Manitoba clamping down, but Binns is there to provide him with the release valve. He's looking for Kuromi up the line. Kuromi gets the scoop cut there. Doesn't elect to go up the line, goes all the way across the field. That sails too far, and Matheson is unable to make another amazing catch on that one.
And that would have been the point that would have made both teams tied. What an important point, because there's not that much time left in the game.
Zhang's throw tried to be brought down by Ewan Mitchell. He used his height great, but it bounces off his hands. But he had position, good read, just a small error.
So the winner of this game gets to be top 8, and the loser of this game gets to play for 9 to 16 positions. Very important outcome.
Binns on the sideline, hearing Coach Dan Pluch saying, no continues, really promoting that containment in the zone, and it pays off. Manitoba doing a great job downfield to shut down anything from Victoria. Burrell striking deep for a pass from Thomas Klippenstein, but it's too far.
You can feel how much both teams want to score, and they're just lacking a little bit of patience and execution on these throws because they want it too hard, honestly, at this point. So a
Binns,
timeout
yeah.
is the right
I hate this
call.
timeout. Okay, the right call.
It is the
Cut
right
you off,
call.
I'm sorry.
No. I believe it's. We can have a different opinion. That's allowed. My opinion is that that's a right call because they've both been making hasty throws. They've lost possessions on silly things.
Timing, 100% with you. Reason for taking the timeout, 100%. Position, I hate it.
Right. That's a difficult spot to go back with the possession because if there's anything that goes wrong with that initial throw, Manitoba is very well positioned for a quick D and a score.
And when on timeouts for the uninitiated, Victoria has to set up on their offense, and after that, Manitoba on D will have 20 seconds to get in position. So they have 20 seconds to assess some probable plans, some lanes that Victoria is going to take, and then kind of set up. Now, I think we can expect a zone here from Manitoba, right?
Oh, I think so.
Yeah.
I think their zone has been working especially well.
But this gives them that extra time to think and plan and get in position. When you're playing offense, if you can keep the defense from ever getting comfortable in their position, you're doing a great job, right? But obviously in a timeout, they always get to have that position because they get that 20 seconds to set up after you have. But when you're setting up in coffin corner over there, right? A tough one.
It's a tough one. And I'm not sure who's got the disc right now. Can you see it from here?
That's Binns.
That's Binns.
Yeah,
so
Jonathan Binns, 39.
All right. So Jonathan Binns. I mean, they say that he has a rocket attached to his throwing arm. So maybe Jonathan
Maybe a deep
Binns.
shot, right?
Maybe he's going to throw up that deep shot.
Yes. But you see this zone set up. Manitoba's already coordinating.
Ah, there we go.
You called it. But it's too far, and you know who saw that before Harper Tubbs did? That was Ewan Mitchell, number 18 for Manitoba. He was pointing at everybody, said, I got the deep. He was doing that as they set up, and exactly like the field position is far better for Victoria in this situation, but Manitoba had all that time to get their defense ready.
Right.
Ooh, that pass for Abbott, everybody was a little confused, but that works out great. And McLaren was looking to go to Mitchell, but Mitchell had already turned his back, and Dusk able to knock that down. Binns going to go to Harper Tubbs immediately. And goal for Dusk. The score is now tied 9-9. You love to see this kind of score in a crossover. One team punching up from the lower tier at the beginning of the tournament, while another battles to stay in the top 8 from where they started in the tournament.
Very tight. And Dusk has had some good defensive plays on that point, and we have to name Sam Zanbilowicz, number 13. He's the one who anticipated that throw. That was, quite close to that end zone and was able to just knock it down, give Dusk possession close to their end zone, and then they did not hesitate and bang, bang, put that in. So Dusk came back. Good on them. That took a lot of grit from them as well. So 9-9. And how much time is there left? Just a few minutes.
So we started this game at, I have timing asking me that. We started the game at 10:30. It has been 74 minutes, 73. This tournament has a different rule set than the rest of the Canadian Ultimate Championship Series. In the junior division, we have a soft cap. That will go on at 75 minutes. That's in less than 2 minutes. The soft cap, what happens when the soft cap time passes, you finish the current point, and then you take the score, and you add 1 to the highest score, and it's a game to whatever that number is.
However, if there's a tie.
No, that is, if it's a tie, it's just, it's still adding to the highest. It's the hard cap, where if we get past the hard cap at 85 minutes, if it's a tie, we play one more as a tiebreaker.
I see.
Yes. So the game won't necessarily, you know what, I think at this point it's safe to say this will not be a game to 15 with soft cap fast approaching.
Right.
Probably a game to
the soft
10,
cap.
11, or 12. Yeah.
Right.
So, well, 11 or 12, I should say. So we'll see. Peterson. Middle to Hurd. Hurd back to Peterson. Peterson doing what he does best. Active handler goes over the top, finds Abbott. Kind of a late bid by Chen there. The crowd hates it. The players are seeming to chill out. Abbott calls a foul so he can get his feet. Good tactical call there. So it's, hey man, you ran into me. And I think I see observer Linda Kudo reaching into her pocket for a card-shaped piece of plastic, and it is a yellow card awarded to Chen. So that is a dangerous play, why that's being awarded. So Chen made his bid too late for and basically striking somebody that was in the air making a catch that couldn't defend themselves or didn't see the hit coming. Observers very much in Canadian Ultimate now at these series awarding yellow cards when anything like that happens. And it seems, I don't know the rule here, but look at this, field position is being awarded at the brick. I'm sure it's in the rules. I just don't know it.
Okay, I don't know it by heart either. I do know that the number of yellow cards will be adding up for players over the tournament and over the games. So it is important not to accumulate them for a player. So a good reminder of how they're expected to play.
They got to set. That's amazing. And then the disc is going to get tapped in. Intrigue here in this tied crossover. A penalty changing the course of this game, and Cale Peterson able to make that catch, back his feet up, and makes it look easy to put Manitoba up.
We were saying that Peterson had not been a superstar this game, you know, him being the only graduating player coming from the 2022 gold medal, he being in the Ultimate Canada. But he was a superstar and kept it in play there. I mean, he knew how to cut for that, got open, made the grab, and secured it not only in his hands, but secured his positioning as he was up in the air, had the presence to look down and make sure his feet landed inside the end zone. So really, Peterson, number 11, Cale Peterson, like you were saying, he's in grade 12. He played Team Canada this summer. So for those of you who don't know, Canada has teams, junior teams, that represent Canada at a world competition. It's the World Junior Ultimate Championships. It's in Birmingham, England. And it just happened. It just finished from July 21st to 27th. And of the Canadian teams that we sent 3 teams. The mixed got silver, the open got bronze, and the women came in 4th. So Canada is very, very strong in the world. And Peterson is part of that very strong team.
That he is. I mean, that's why he's going to school, to university on a scholarship for Ultimate.
Yes.
Fantastic opportunity. He and his teammate who was on that U20 team, Sam Creed, going to the same school on scholarship. A fantastic opportunity. I'm not sure if we have a timeout call. We do have a timeout call here because time no longer matters for the next 10 minutes.
Explain
we are
this.
at soft cap. It is game to 11.
11.
So the Victoria has to score this point, right, to force Universe, and Manitoba has to score this point to win.
To force a tie.
So this
sorry,
actually,
yes,
what time
Manitoba
does
to
not
win,
matter.
yes.
I was right. So time does not matter. The hard cap will not play a part in this game anymore, as it is a 1-point game. So it is first to 11. Manitoba up 10-9. They are starting on defense. We can ignore the clock, everybody. This is just going to be Victoria having to score 2 or Manitoba scoring 1. That is all we are doing. And Dusk has a chance here to force Universe. I mean, they have to.
And Dusk is going to receive. And so if they keep possession, in theory, they should score this, and it should be a tied game.
That pulls out of bounds. It'll be sent to the middle.
That will help Dusk, but it will also help Team Manitoba set up their very infamous zone.
Yes, yes. But it looks like they're actually electing to go into match defense against this vertical set. So
oh, look at this.
Yes, fascinating. I mean, throwing something different that Victoria hasn't seen in a while. Melvy, known for his deep game, goes deep immediately for that pass off Saunders, elevates early. And a quick, easy goal. Not easy goal, but a quick goal, I'm sorry, from Victoria. But hard-earned by Melvy there. And it is a Universe point alert in our crossover. Our first Universe point.
On this live stream.
On this live stream.
The first Universe point. So Universe point just means that the score is even, so both teams have the same score, and the next team to score wins the game. But this is not just a game, Clay.
Yes, this is for your contention in the tournament. Are you going to quarterfinals, or are you going to the 9th place? It's the Ninals. Are you going to the Ninals bracket? Finals or Ninals? This is it. On this point, I am psyched.
So as a player, you want to be called on this line if you feel on, if you feel like your whole body is zoned in.
And then when you feel off and the coach is looking for people, you're like looking at the sky, looking at your feet, what's going on behind me, you know?
Exactly. You're like, no, 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 don't pick me, don't pick me. But the coaches have picked their utmost power lines. We can expect all the best, most reliable players to be on these lineups.
Manitoba is putting out a big line out there. The players have been contributing. The players out there this game have been contributing positively and showing a lot of speed. Eric
elects not to catch.
Gets the pull back.
That was a great pull, really deep in the end zone.
Yeah, but Abbott and Peterson there to help him right away to get that out of the end zone. It seemed that he didn't know he was fielding the pull. McLaren comes through to break up the zone. Clamp zone from Victoria. But Peterson chills out, finds Burrell on the edge. Burrell gets up quick to prevent the pressure. He does some give go, but it's dropped as there's a miscue. He was moving the other way. Dusk now 20 yards outside of the end zone. Saunders picks up. He's been throwing a lot of shots this game, has Harper going deep. He's going to go to Melvey. Melvey gets up.
Saunders to Melvey.
Dusk wins on Universe, knocking Team Manitoba down to Ninals. Dusk is moving on to the quarterfinals. A huge upset in this crossover.
This is the first time that a team from Vancouver Island has qualified to even participate in Canadian Junior Nationals, and they have qualified to be in the top 8 team brackets. They are going to quarterfinals. Huge upset for Team Manitoba.
Huge upset with the way the game was going and that amazing defensive game from Manitoba. I don't want to take anything away from them. Their offense was chilly. They made good choices. They showed such patience and discipline. Their defense just stuffed Victoria the whole game, but Victoria showed that grit this game and just kept attacking. And then with some big in-the-air plays this game, just gave them the edge. And to come back from 10-9 and win 11-10, a huge milestone.
Huge win
for Victoria Ultimate.
Both teams played incredibly well. Manitoba having a 6 points out of 7 point streak there in the middle of the game. And so Team Manitoba was very present. It was there were ebbs and flows in terms of the momentum of this game, and ultimately came down to that one Universe point. And it was a classic Saunders to Melvey, which is a combination we've seen more than once. 2 players that were key to their teams. So congratulations to Dusk for moving up into the winners brackets.
Yeah. Fun fact, they won 2 Universe points
prior to this
at regionals to qualify for this tournament. So they've been riding that. They won a Universe point yesterday to take first in their pool to be in this game. So
they have experience.
They're on a run with Universe right now. But hats off to both teams. Just an amazing performance. Love streaming a game like that.
Yes.
We are bringing you more action soon. We actually have a women's division, I believe it's
quarterfinals.
The quarterfinals, thank you. I wasn't actually sure. So women's coming up after this. We're going to have that stream brought to you in, pardon me, just checking my watch, in about 38 minutes at 12:30. So you can tune in for more from our showcase field here at the Canadian Ultimate Championships Junior Edition. Clay Hallett, Chantal Dussault signing off. We'll be back with you soon.